In the fall of 1965, a new high school opened its doors at the edge of Oxnard. The new school, whose name was taken from the Mesa School District and Rio School District, from which it drew its students, was to be called Rio Mesa High School. Its first principal was a man who had spent much of his early years in Idaho. Its first principal was also a veteran of both World War II and the Korean War. Its first principal had been a teacher, attendance officer, and assistant principal at Oxnard High School. When Rio Mesa High School first opened its doors in 1965, Mr. Elmont Michaelson was principal. Elmont Michaelson would spend the next 20 years guiding, nurturing, and overseeing the growth of one of the most unique and diverse schools in Ventura County. He continued in this position as principal until his retirement from education in 1984. Elmont, being the extremely humble person that he is, would prefer not to speak this evening. It therefore becomes my distinct privilege to speak in his behalf. Mont, as his nature, first of all wants to thank and acknowledge everyone who was a part of Rio Mesa High School during his 20 years as principal. He feels that this is not just his award, but that it is also in part belongs to the many people who worked at Rio Mesa High School. It's at this point that I have to respectfully disagree with Mr. Michaelson. And I can do it now because he won't walk me into his office, shut the door, tell me to sit down, and tell me why I was wrong. He can't do that tonight, so I'm going to disagree. Elmont, this most richly deserved award is definitely about you, both as an educator and a human being. Mont would also like to acknowledge and give credit to his lovely wife, Pat. Pat had her own career in education at Ventura College, but was always supportive of Elmont and his work at Rio Mesa. She was also an integral part of the Rio Mesa family, of which Elmont Michaelson is the patriarch. I mention Rio Mesa family because it truly exists and developed in large part through the efforts of this fine gentleman. Rio Mesa, for those of you who are not familiar with our school, is out kind of in the middle of nowhere. It used to be surrounded by lemons, now it's strawberries. But we're out in the unincorporated area of the county, and we do our students from the unincorporated areas of the county, as well as the cities of Oxnard and Camarillo. Yet we were not a part of either city. There is, however, a sense of community that surrounds Rio Mesa that was initiated through the dedicated work of Mr. Elmont Michaelson. I have fond memories of a massive community project which involved the installation of lights on the Spartan football field. This was, in the truest sense, a community project. Elmont Michaelson would spend all day in his office as principal, long days. At the end of the day, he would walk out to the football field, remove his coat and tie, roll up his sleeves, and I can still see him with a grinder there among other students, parents, and tradespeople from the community. He truly led by example, and this was the inspiration that formed what we still know today as the Rio Mesa family, which is well represented here tonight to honor this fine gentleman. Mont guided and nurtured the development of a school with an ethnically diverse student population, coming from a wide-ranging socioeconomic backgrounds. His guidance and leadership fostered an atmosphere of tolerance and mutual respect. Rio Mesa was first and foremost in his thoughts and deeds. Mont was all about students. There was a phrase, it was actually a question. I can't tell you how many times I heard him say this. It was very simply, is it good for kids? And that was his yardstick. Is it good for kids? If you could convince him it was good for kids, it got done. If there was any doubt in his mind as to whether or not it was good for kids, it didn't get done. Elmont Michaelson was good for kids. On behalf of all of us who worked with and for you, we know this award is not about us, but about the leadership that you provided. I know that I can speak on behalf of all the staff, the students, and parents who were a part of the Rio Mesa family during the 20 years you were principal by saying thank you for all that you did. Yes, you were good for kids, and your induction into the Ventura County Educators Hall of Fame is richly deserved. Congratulations, Mr. Michaelson. There's an award over there.